Welcome to My Ninja Turtles channel. This is the Ninja Turtle Show, a weekly live stream every Turtle Tuesday. We talk about turtle news, turtle toys, cartoons, movies, games, video games. Whatever the show we want. How are you? Hope you had a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. Lots of Comic-Con news, and we're going to talk about a lot of it. We're going to go over the last Ronin news. Big announcement, new miniseries coming out, The Lost Years. Also, NECA figures. So many NECA figures, I really can't even keep track of them. They're adding to their cartoon line. They're adding to the Mirage line. They're adding to the last Ronin line. Also, big comic book news. Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover, Part 2. Coming at you this fall. Also, the Cowabunga Collection. Seems like it's going to be more than just a video game, and it has a release date. Coming up very soon. So a lot of Comic-Con news to get into, and also, I'm not sure if you saw it, but there was also an article released on The Last Ronin, an oral history of The Last Ronin. It came out online, and it's a really comprehensive interview-based article with all the creators of The Last Ronin, and I want to go over it with you. And also, sad news in the Ninja Turtles world. We learned about the passing of David Warner, who you may be familiar as Professor Jordan Perry from Secret of the Ooze. So, we're going to pay respects to David Warner, and we're going to go over all the news today. And before we get into everything, sounds like it's going to be a great show. Before we get into it, I wanted to let you guys know to check out my video from last Saturday. Casey Jones is the original Kyle Rittenhouse. Very controversial video. Mixed reaction, and that's just what I was looking for. I was looking through the comments earlier, and I saw some people are saying I went too far, some people are saying I didn't go far enough, and that's exactly the response I was looking for. I wanted to make a murky video that offended some people, that ruffled some feathers, and I think I got the job done. And little secret, next week's video is going to be controversial as well. Next Saturday, I'm going to do another scripted upload video. It's going to be controversial, so 2 controversial videos in a row. So make sure to check that out next Saturday, and check out the Casey Jones's The Original Kyle Rittenhouse video if you didn't see it already. Make sure to follow me on Rumble, rumble.com/MyNinjaTurtles channel. It's a video platform just like this, and I'm going to start uploading exclusive content pretty soon. And it's just another place to connect and check out My Ninja Turtles channel videos. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications if you want to see when the videos are posted. Share my channel. And most importantly, send in a chat, leave comments. I like hearing from you guys. That's the most important thing. So let's get started. Should be a great show. And first thing I wanted to get to is the sad news about David Warner. Professor Jordan Perry. You may know him from Secret of the Ooze, the second Ninja Turtles movie that came out in 1991. You may know him from a bunch of other things. He was a very talented actor. He was in a bunch of roles. This guy had a long resume, and unfortunately he passed. He was 80 years old. And I just really wanted to go over some things that I felt we should go over. This was a tough topic. I didn't know if I should include it, if I should just go over Comic-Con news, but I figured this is important to Turtles fans, so it's good that we go over it. He played the dorky, bumbling, scientist-type character in Secret of the Ooze. He was a good guy, but he was kind of a murky good guy as well. He helped Shredder a little bit in the movie, and he was conflicted. He created Tokka and Razor, but he protected them after Shredder wanted to get rid of them and destroy them because they were just babies. And he really brought a lot of class to this movie. He could have just played it down. It's a goofy kids movie, it's a Turtles movie, but he gave it a full performance. And like I said, he gave it a lot of class, and he gave it a lot of nuance. And he really grounded the movie. He was the human character that he was relatable to. And I thought it was a really great performance. Acting with all the wild characters and still giving a grounded performance that was based in reality and realistic emotions. And you aren't sure if you like him or not. He has the goofy bow tie, and he does help out Shredder, but eventually he sees the light and he helps out the Turtles. Great range of emotions in this movie, and I just wanted to say Rest in peace, David Warner. Professor Jordan Perry, on behalf of the whole Ninja Turtles community, we're going to miss you. You did a great job in this movie. And I thought his reactions to seeing the Turtles for the first time were great. He was so happy about it. He thought the life was fantastic, that the Turtles were created, that there was mutants. So this is one of those things. It's sad, but I just wanted to say rest in peace, David Warner. Rest in peace, Professor Jordan Perry. Ninja Turtles community, we will miss you. So that's very sad news. But he played a great role and did a great job in the movie, and I thought it was important to celebrate his work and celebrate his memory. So that was that. That's David Warner. Rest in peace. Some of the news you may have missed from over the weekend, with all the Comic-Con news coming out, is there was a great article posted about The Last Ronin, the oral history of The Last Ronin, the biggest TMNT comic since 1984. And I thought this was a great article. This article came a few days ago. It's on Inverse, so if you just search for it, it's really interesting. They interviewed all the people that helped make the comic. They go behind the scenes, all these details and all this backstory about how the production of the book came to be and how the story of the book and the design of the characters came to be. And it's great to hear the reaction and hear it directly from the creators themselves about how this book came about. This article is written by Brian Van Hooker. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Brian Van Hooker. He's the host of the Turtle Tracks podcast. It's a really great Turtles podcast. I'm not sure if you're subscribed to it already, but it's an interview show, and he's interviewed everyone from Kevin Monroe, the director of the 2007 movie, to Eric Bauza, who voiced Splinter on Rise of the TMNT and a bunch of characters in the 2012 TMNT. He's interviewed Gary Carlson from the Image Run, Renee Jacobs, the original voice of April, Steve Levine, Trevor Zamet, Chris Allen from the Archie Run, Pat Fraley, voice of Krang. He's even interviewed superfan Michelle Ivy, so Brian Van Hooker is a great Ninja Turtles fan. He's a certified turtlefied Ninja Turtles fan. He's the real deal. And he wrote this article, The Oral History of The Last Ronin. He got to speak with a bunch of the creators, Kevin Eastman, Andy Kuhn. He got to speak with Tom Waltz, Ben Bishop, the Escorza brothers, Bobby Curnow, Luis Delgado. And they went through about the whole process. Oh, let me turn off this text on the top of the screen here. They went through the whole process of how the comic came about, from the original script from Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman to how it was developed with IDW. They talked about the hiccups they encountered along the way. For example, the original artist Andy Kuhn had to drop out of the project. The original teaser featured art from Andy Kuhn, and eventually they had the Escorza brothers. They went over the original outline that Kevin and Peter worked on, and it was interesting to hear all the details that they changed and how it was morphed and came about to its current form that we saw a few months ago. So this was a really comprehensive interview. And like I said, Brian Van Hooker's the real deal. So here's some of the guys that created The Last Ronin. These are heroes, let's be honest. These are great heroes in the Ninja Turtles world. They did excellent work on this book, and, hats off to them. So, hats off to these guys. They did a wonderful job. And it's so interesting to hear all the behind-the-scenes details and how they dealt with the delays of the book, how they dealt with the pandemic. IDW was essentially shut down for a large portion of this book. They announced it at the worst possible time, I guess you could say, but they made the best of it, and they kept pushing along against all the adversity. And it was neat to hear their marketing strategy about how they got some hype going for the book and not releasing which character was going to be the last Ronin. They kept that a mystery, so fans would have something to look forward to and fans would have something to discuss and argue about. So it was neat to hear their philosophy and their inspiration for the book. It had the dark tone. It's a really risky comic book to make, honestly. It could have backfired. It's gory, it's dark. We know how the first book ends with the Michelangelo trying to commit seppuku. Seppuku? What's the word, seppuku? I don't know the word, but you know what I'm talking about. Very sad, very tragic. And one of the funny little things I liked reading in this article, there was a couple little quotes And one was from Kevin Eastman. He was talking about their production schedule, and if it's not late, it's not mirage, the old saying. And he mentioned that for this book, that one of his strategies was, if it's too late, they won't change anything. And I thought that was really funny coming from Kevin Eastman. He's just saying if he turns in his book late, all the people behind the scenes, the corporate people, they're not going to be able to say a thing. They're not going to ask him to change anything or redraw anything or reconsider anything. So I thought that was a great quote from Kevin Eastman. He just, if it's too late, they won't change anything. Total badass. And I think that's an awesome quote. And another quote kind of came secondhand from Peter Laird. And Peter Laird gave his blessing to the project, and they haven't really heard from him since. And they didn't know if he's going to read it. And Peter Laird's quote was essentially, maybe I'll read it in the end, maybe I won't. And I thought that was the perfect Peter Laird quote. It's kind of dark, it's a little bit dry, maybe I'll read it in the end, maybe I won't. And he gave his blessing for the project, but they haven't really talked to him since, or they haven't talked about Last Ronin since. I don't know the details, but I just thought that was such a great quote from Peter Laird. So definitely wanted to recommend this article. They even get into all the guys' reactions about how the story was perceived and the big sales numbers and how it really changed the game for Ninja Turtles comics. And it's so interesting to hear the writers, the artists, the colorists, Kevin Eastman, the editor, Bobby Curnow, the great Bobby Curnow. It's great to hear their reactions about how well this story was received, how well it did in terms of sales, and how it really kicked off a bunch of renewed interest in the Ninja Turtles. It's Turtle Mania Part 2. And they even got into some fan reactions. And one of the biggest fan reactions, speaking of The Last Ronin and fans, I wanted to mention The Last Ronin animation. The guy that made this was just a big fan of The Last Ronin, and he decided to pay a little tribute to The Last Ronin by making this wonderful animation. I think it's up to 1.7 million views. Can you believe that? It should be at 10.7 million views. And I think it'll get there eventually. This is a great video. This is very well done, very professional. And like I said, they chose a very dark scene. They chose the seppuku. What is that word? Let me look up how to say that word right now, because that is embarrassing. Seppuku? There we go, seppuku. I'll get this down one day, seppuku. They chose a very dark scene, and recently he released a behind-the-scenes video, and it was so interesting to hear and to see how this whole animation came about. They went over the animation style and how the animation was made and how they actually decided which scenes to shoot and angles. Let me move my turtle face so you can see the guy. Magnus Edlund at Speedo Kagan is their website. So look at that guy, what a hero. And it looks like they open up the file and he goes through all the choices they made, all the decisions they made. And it was really interesting to hear about why they did some of the things, what they could get away with, and all their little decisions, little details in the background, some Easter eggs, a little Chet Easter egg. And it's great to hear this Magnus guy talk. He's funny, he's humble, seems like a nice guy, and man is he talented. This Last Ronin animation was wonderful. I think, as of right now, like I said last week, this is the #1 Ninja Turtles movie of the year so far. Ninja Turtles movie of the year, Last Ronin animation. You heard it here. So this movie was great. I hope they make another little scene. I hope they do more. I'd love to see more Ninja Turtles content from this guy. He's obviously very talented. This is the kind of stuff we need. And it was really just interesting. It was 20 minutes long, behind the scenes content. So if that's not enough for you, I don't know what is. But if this Last Ronin animation isn't enough for you, did you see at Comic-Con they talked about Last Ronin figures? They actually showed the figures. They look so good. Sometimes they release promotional photos and they look okay, but to actually see them in person, to see them just on a shelf, these figures look fantastic. And if that's not enough for you, they released a Leo and a Raph figure. How great is that? Leo and Raph from The Last Ronin with their cool designs. You guys like these figures? I haven't even said what's up to the chat yet. You guys like these figures? How's it going in the chat? Pickle, how's it going? Mr. Turtle, Godzilla, what's going on, guys? How's it going? Let me put your chats on the screen. I like having your chats on the screen. Oh, they're not working right now. Well, that's not good. Maybe I can figure this out as we go. So, great news about these Leo and Raph Last Ronin figures. And like I said, I don't want to get greedy here, but if that wasn't enough, a sequel. Last Ronin, The Lost Years. A Last Ronin story. How great is that? Are we lucky or what? How great are these designs? How great is this comic? Looks like it's going to be Mikey again. Let me put up a big... There we go. Looks like it's going to be Mikey again. And he's got his brother's weapons. He looks like he's in the snow. And I thought this just looked awesome. This is some dark stuff. And I guess it's going to kind of be a prequel to what we saw in the actual Last Ronin. I guess it's going to be a prequel. So this is exciting. It's going to be dark, and it's going to have a lot of the same team, but I think they're going to have a different artist, and I'm pretty sure this is coming out this fall as well. So just a few more months to wait. We got your chats on the screen. How's it going, everybody? Just a few more months to wait for this awesome follow-up. They're calling it the Ronin verse, and I would prefer this kind of prequel, something about Mikey, instead of something following Casey Marie Jones and the 4 new turtles. I would prefer something like this, The Lost Years. Maybe it's going to occur in between the years when his brothers and Splinter died, up until the point when we saw him in the first Last Ronin miniseries. I'm not sure. But I know I'm going to read it. So the font looks great. It's got this old kind of scroll feel, and the art looks great. Mikey looks great. He doesn't look as old as and weathered as he did in the other comic book, so maybe he's slightly younger, but still going to be interesting. Still excited to read this. It's like when it rains, it pours, and right now, when it rains, it pours, and I would say right now the forecast is Ninja Turtles heavy. We're going to get a downpour of Ninja Turtles. When it rains, it pours. And another thing, almost too many figures to keep up with. When it rains, it pours. The NECA cartoon line. Can you believe how many NECA cartoon figures there are? Honestly, I don't even know which figures are new, which figures were debuted at Comic-Con, which figures are expected to come out. There's too many to keep track of. But these figures are great. There's so much variety. The Bunny, Bebop and Rocksteady. The baby turtles look great. Weird characters. Shakuhachi. Does anybody even know who Shakuhachi is? I don't think any... Who's that, Lotus Blossom's husband or something? Dirk Savage, Bugman. I could understand some of these, but wow, some of these are deep cuts. These guys are going all out. I also like the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang. Looked great. The humans in the turtle costumes, the neutrinos. Catwoman April, Ground Chuck, Scrag. I mean, what a deep cut. And these figures look really great. And they keep adding to this cartoon line, and NECA's doing a great job. And it's not the only line they're adding to. They've also been adding to their original Mirage Comics line, the Archie Adventures line, and also the Last Ronin line. Like I said, we saw the Leo and Raph for Last Ronin. Looks like they're also releasing a Sinjo, which is kind of like a tech foot soldier, one of those futuristic foot soldiers that we saw in the Last Ronin. And I'm excited for that Last Ronin line. That's going to be great. And looks like they're fleshing out the Archie Adventures line. They've got Slash and Man Ray, Jaguar, Dreadmon. Really cool stuff. And the thing I thought was neat is how they're fleshing out the Mirage Comics line. That's their oldest line, I think, from NECA. The original figures, the original NECA Mirage figures really, I would say, kicked off a lot of this stuff. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. The original NECA Mirage figures on the left. These came out in 2007 or 8 or 9 or something. They came out like 15 years ago, and these really were a high-quality figure that was a high-quality collectible for Ninja Turtles. And they're highly sought after. They're highly expensive, and even recently Playmates, the figure on the right, released kind of their version of the original Mirage Comics figures. So when I saw that NECA released a new comic figure, I was very, very happy. These NECA Mirage comic figures look so good. The original figure I just showed you, that's kind of like the first version of the Turtles, the issue #1 look, but these are from a little bit later on. These are kind of from the late 80s look, and this is, you know, loosely based on the Return to New York storyline, issues 19, 20, and 21 of the original Mirage comics. And the Turtles have a little bit of a different look. They've matured a little bit. The Turtles are buff. They got big arms, big beefy thighs and calves, and big old feet. And they don't have the beaky face. They have a little bit more of an oval-shaped face. And I love this design. I loved this design in the comics, and I am so happy that they made this into a new figure. Oh, Godzilla's asking a question here. Will Leo defeat Raph in Rematch 22 movie? How did I feel about Godzilla? I didn't see any of the Godzilla movies, and I'm not sure if Leo or Raph is going to win. I don't think it's really going to be about who wins. They're just going to be helping each other fight the Krang. How do you like these figures, Lightning Godzilla? You like these Mirage figures? Do you collect any figures at all? So I thought they have a great design. They have those big beefy calves, and it looks like they're like the Jim Lawson style. Jim Lawson's one of my favorite artists from the Mirage era. And the late 80s Turtles have a little bit different look, like I said, than the first issue. These are some issues from the late 80s. This is a Tales of the TMNT issue. And this is from Return to New York. This is actually from the comic that these figures are based on. And you can see Raphael has that cowl on. You can see that the extra head right near my head on the left side of the screen. It's an extra cowl that's going to come with these figures. And it's really a great look, that tattered cowl from the comics. Raphael is kind of sneaking around the sewers here, and he has a different look. And you can see even in these comics, he's got those big calves, big thighs. The Turtles are buff. They're not little, they don't have the little turtleneck anymore, the beak. They look rough, ready to tumble, ready to fight. These are just some other panels from those Return to New York panels. And you can see how the Turtles look very similar. And not only are they great looking figures, it's a great comic art. 19, 20, and 21. It was kind of adapted for the 1990 movie. It's been adapted in the 2012 show. It was adapted in the 2003 show. It's adapted in the IDW run. It's a classic Ninja Turtles arc, Return to New York. It's like City or Northampton. So I just wanted to showcase some of these photos and maybe what they were based on. You can see there the Turtles, they have the big arms, big forearms. And I am so excited for these figures. I don't know what other accessories they're going to come with. I'd be excited if they came with the cartoon color bandanas as well. Some people are purists. They like the red bandana only. I'm willing to switch it up a little bit. I like a Leonardo with the blue bandana. What can I say? I like to mix it up a little bit. Is that sacrilegious to say? I don't know. But these figures look great. You can see here on the top, it's another picture. This is from Tales of the TMNT 4, where Rat King was introduced. The Turtles are big and buff, and they look really cool. They've got the oval head, the grimace. Even Casey Jones looks cool in the background, so I'm really happy that they're branching out and making more comic figures. I hope they make more. I hope they make more of Jim Lawson style, like in the City of War arc, when it's really angular and chunky and geometric. I love that Jim Lawson style. It's so weird and stylized. I think it's such a bold choice. I hope they make more figures. And I have a feeling they will. If their cartoon line is any indication of how they plan to keep making figures, I hope in a few years we have 100 Mirage comic figures. I hope they're making all these bizarre characters. I don't know what the rights are, but Bloodsucker. Who else? Who are some Turtles characters from the comics? I'm drawing a blank right now, but it'll be great to see all the canon guest era, the stuff from the guest era, stuff from the canon era. Can't wait, and I know they're gonna do it. I'd love to even see some Volume 2 figures. Some great characters were introduced in Volume 2, and I'd love to see that. See Baxter Stockman just as a brain. So, these figures look really great. Like I said, and this is the set of toys I'm most excited about. There's a whole bunch of other stuff announced, but none of it holds a candle to this stuff. This is the look that does it for me. They look just like this. This is a Kevin Eastman from the late 80s too. They look buff. They've got the muscles and big thighs. Very similar look. And a very great look for the Turtles too. I think this is a classic Turtles look. And the Turtles were really popular at this time, late 80s. A lot of people bought these Return to New York comic books. Kevin and Peter kind of worked apart for a little bit, and they came back together for Return to New York. Triumphant return. So this is a great era to memorialize with some figures, and I'm happy about it. Like I said, pays tribute to the comics. And speaking of Ninja Turtles comics, did you see a second Ninja Turtles Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossover was announced? Ninja Turtles crossover with the Power Rangers. Go Go Ninja Turtles Part 2. Secret of the Ooze Part 2. And it's going to be great, coming out this fall. So much coming out this fall for the Ninja Turtles. And I think it's going to be the same writer but a different artist. It's going to be 5 issues again. And it's a little bit tough to see, but on the left side of the screen, let me hide your chats here for a second. On the far left side of the screen, you can see Krang above my head to the left. It's a little tiny version of Krang, and I don't think he was in the first miniseries, so it's going to be really cool to see Krang introduced into this world. So it looks like they switched artists, and the artist who is going to be drawing this issue, pretty sure it's the guy who did the covers for the first miniseries, so he's not a complete stranger. And frankly, I thought the covers looked awesome for the first miniseries. So if they're bringing that guy in on art, Dan Mora, I'm very excited about it. And the writer is Ryan Parrott. So these are going to be 5 issues that I'm definitely looking forward to. They're hitting the nostalgia on all cylinders. That late 80s, early 90s nostalgia is full blast. And speaking of the late 80s, early 90s nostalgia, they showcased some new covers on the Saturday Morning Adventures series, which is going to be based in the 1987 world. You guys excited for these comics? They released another cover, and it looks like it's for the second issue, in which the rock soldier is trying to become a rock star. So it's great to see another cover for this series, and it's great to see how the art is progressing. I love this art, and they even released this. This is going to be the 3rd issue. Casey Jones looks like he has some electricity or something, or he's shocking the turtles. And can't wait. This is going to be a neat little mini-series. Maybe it'll stick around, maybe it won't, but either way, it's cool that they're dipping their toe so directly back into the 1987 world. I think this is a great thing. So the nostalgia is firing on all cylinders. The 80s and 90s are doing great in the Ninja Turtles world. People are loving the 80s and 90s comics, and they're also loving the 80s and 90s video games. So we got to see a little peek at the Cowabunga Collection. And this is awesome. We got a release date for the Cowabunga Collection. The videos look great. It's turtly epic. The action looks great. The menus look great. This looks like it's going to be more than a game. This looks like it's going to be like a documentary. It's going to be like a multimedia experience featuring the Ninja Turtles. It's going to have so much. It's going to have so much extra content with it. There's awesome artwork. There's so much. There's going to be sketches, box art, full manuals, comic art, all sorts of stuff, the inspiration, and the game is going to be really customizable. You can search within the game, you can customize screen borders, you can customize the size of the screen. Comes out on August 30th, a little over a month away. How great is that? There's going to be strategy guides that are included with it. This is going to be a real full production. This is going to contain 13 US games, 13 Ninja Turtles games. How great is that? Is anyone else excited for 13 Ninja Turtles games in one place? And it's also going to have 11 Japanese versions of the same games. So 13 US games, 11 Japanese games. That's, I'm going to do a little math here. 13 plus 11, 1 plus 3, carry the 2, 4, 3 minus 2, 5, 18 plus 22. That's over 2,000 games the way I just calculated it. 24 games, can you believe it? And it's going to have so much extras content, so much bonus content. This is going to be like a documentary, like I said. This is more than just a game. This is going to have a full history of the game. And one of the things I thought was most interesting that I saw was some of the artwork, some of the inspirational artwork. I don't know how early in the process this is. I don't know when this stuff came about, but this is some cool art, and it's really interesting to see that this is how the game was created, with simple drawings and simple designs, and it's just the way they flesh it out into a full game is so exciting. Hey, SR Striker, no worries. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. Always great to see you. So this is some of the artwork, the Cowabunga Collection's behind the scenes artwork, and it's great to see the origination of some of these things in the games, like the foot soldier throwing the sewer lid at the turtle. That's a classic thing, and it was created right here on this page. And none of the language is in English, so I don't know what this stuff says. I could probably do some sort of translation thing, but I just wanted to soak up the artwork. It is so amazing that this is where some of this stuff came from. It's so cool to see. This is the first drawing. This started off a whole catalog of Ninja Turtles games. So I am so excited for the Cowabunga Collection. The Cowabunga Collection is going to be so awesome. I am very excited for this, and like I said, it's about a month away. So there was so much news to go over today. Did you guys have any favorite part? What was your favorite part of the news today? Anybody have a favorite part? Let me know your favorite part in the chat. Feel free to type it up in the chat. And I also wanted to go and talk a little bit about my video I did last Saturday and some of the reaction to it. Can I do a video on TMNT and Sonic the Hedgehog? That's on my to-do list. I have a little to-do list of videos I'd like to do in the future. Let me turn this off. Whoops. My video from last Saturday. It's on Rumble as well, but Casey Jones is the original Kyle Rittenhouse. Like I said, it was a controversial kind of video, and some of the comments were pretty divisive. And I just wanted to read a couple real fast. It was funny to think. At first, I got a lot of comments saying, this is not a good comparison. This is bad. The creators of TMNT would be appalled. You have time to delete this. So someone said that it's a bad comparison because Kyle Rittenhouse went looking for trouble. And then someone else said it's a bad comparison because Casey Jones is an anti-hero. And then someone else said it's a bad comparison because Kyle was just a victim of an assault. So it was so funny to see and read all the crazy comments to this video. It was supposed to be a provocative video. It's supposed to be controversial. And next week's video is controversial as well. So I'm stirring it up. I'm trying to mix it up. Next week's video is going to be on Rumble as well, so make sure to follow me on Rumble if you don't already. I'm going to start uploading behind the scenes content. I may even start doing an additional live stream over there. I may start doing a second live stream, maybe every Sunday, maybe every Friday. I'm not sure. Maybe every Thursday. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to leave a comment. But we're going to keep doing the Turtle Tuesday live stream. This is the Ninja Turtles show. And I keep uploading a video every Saturday, so make sure to tune in this Saturday. I'm gonna upload another video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I always love doing these live streams and reading your chats. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I will see you next Saturday for my video. It's going to be very controversial, so make sure to leave a comment this Saturday, and I'll be live streaming again next Tuesday. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.